So we've been looking at some classes in Baldur's Gate. The big decision, what are you going to play for this run through on there? And obviously it's vastly different if it's the early part of your game where you're still discovering the world and you're interacting with the narrative versus you played the game literally a couple of hundred times and now you're looking at other tactics or you're looking to unlocking certain strategies or situations. Now, being a computer game, it does a great, or digital game, a great job, in my opinion, coming from someone that plays AD&D tabletop, loves AD&D tabletop. Baldur's Gate, the entire series, captures the feeling of that world, captures the feeling of that game very, very well. But it is in this kind of matrix of decision-making, a decision tree, and you can only do so much. So certainly we see some classes, and in a moment I'm going to get your feedback on this because you know where my vote's going. Then I want your vote. Certain classes just on the meta, just on the power. Fighters or dual fighters, mages, just the damage that they can throw out and the manipulation, they're going to blast through everything. And then there's certain classes that, like we explored in the podcast before, like the Wizard Slayer. On paper, it sounds awesome. The narrative sounds awesome, but it doesn't bring enough in how the game is set up, given that although there are some potent wizards and those battles are very, very fun to fight, most of the battles are against trash mobs, and a lot of the battles are against very, very powerful undead, dragons, constructs, demons, stuff from other planes that essentially are a fighter, but you don't have the gear a fighter needs. And then there are these other classes that start out weak in the beginning, like the monk, and I love monks. They start out weak, and then they get stronger, and then once they hit the quivering palm and the magic resistance and some of the immunities with the correct gear, they really, really become powerful. So if you were like, look, I'm just going to do Baldur's Gate 1 run, and I'm going to do a monk, it's going to be challenging, and I don't think you're going to have a ton of fun. But if you're willing to work at it, an XP farm, and go through the entire saga, monk becomes a lot of fun. So these classes all over the place. Shapeshifter. Shapeshifter gets my vote. If you can just go with the narrative. If you can release all ideas of super power gaming, ultra power gaming. If you can let go this idea of the most optimal on there. My vote for the most favorite class, the funnest class to play, Shapeshifter. On there. You select the portrait of the jacked up guy and you're good to go. It's just a ton of fun to play. It just really is because you have the ability to shapeshift and utilize the werewolf forms, the lesser and the greater, as you move on. Okay, it doesn't match the true stats of what you find in the game, but that's okay. It's still pretty potent enough, and there's a couple of kind of in-game exploits that are legal without editing that will boost it up a little bit more. You do have access to your ball powers, so whether you want to go into which tree based on reputation, that's important on there. And on top of that, you have druid abilities, the druid spells. And there's some really, really interesting spells. So it's a lot of fun because if I go dark side ball powers, I get some spell-like abilities. So I get a little taste of essentially being a magic user, with drain and horror and a few other things, and the touch. Then I have all the druid spells to have a lot of fun on there. And then I've got beast mode on for the lulls when I want to play that. And then just you have potions, you have magic items, you have a lot of different things you can pull in there. I feel like, I'm in Skyrim and I got sucked from Skyrim and just dropped into the Forgotten Realms on there. And it's like, I'm Dragonkin, Dovahkiin, but I'm playing Baldur's Gate on there. For me, in my vote, it is the funnest, wackiest class to play. Your vote on that in the comments.